Tonight in the news, we have 2 Russian admits, one in Harvard and one in MIT. Yeah, guys, they're out there and they're doing it. Why aren't you doing it? So get in there and fight. This is the War Room with Thomas Hulbert. Welcome back.
War Room, baby, yeah!
It's a place for winners. Today, in this episode, we're going to talk about your recommenders. Your recommenders are critical. They get to say things about you that you can't say about yourself. There are several really important principles to think about when getting recommenders. Don't be your own recommender. I know that your recommender is going to say, sure, I'll be your recommender. Please write the recommendation and then I will sign it. Everybody does it, right? No. The people who lose do it. The people who win get people to write recommendations for them. Why? Because that's how it works. The real reason we have recommenders is to show that you have friends. Do you have any friends? Could you get someone to recommend you? If you can't, you don't have friends. Maybe you're not the kind of guy or gal who's going to go get an MBA. A lot of people are thinking, I need my recommender to be the most important, the most wonderful, the most senior rock star in my company, or better, in my industry. I need Putin to be my recommender. Well, that would be nice, but the fact is you don't know Putin, and we know that you don't know Putin. And so when you go for the gold and try to get the most important person in the world to be your recommender, you wind up looking like a fool because that's not true, and everybody knows it. So don't. The fact is, the schools give you some pretty straightforward information about who they want to be your recommender. Read the instructions. Whoa, big, heavy-duty thing, read the instructions. Check it out. Most schools want to have your immediate supervisor, someone who you report to directly, and they'll take a peer. They say, don't have your former university teachers write for you. Why not? Because it was 1,000,000 years ago. Who are your peers? Well, they could be colleagues who are senior. They could be people who have been your mentors. They could even be former bosses in other companies, as long as it's not too long, as long as it's not more than 3 years ago. Because if you have it like, oh, my boss from 10 years ago when I was 15, rah, 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 rah. We don't want that guy because he's not going to give us an accurate picture. So make yourself a short list of 6 people. People who you think who will write something good about you, who have stories or information about you that could be relevant to your application. And consider them. Loyalty is the #1 quality in a recommender, that he knows you and he's going to say things about you that are going to help you get into the school. Not like, oh, he's a jerk, I don't like him. That guy's not very loyal. As we say in America, a friend will help you move, a real friend will help you move a body. We want someone who's going to be in there with us, doing the best they can to deliver the most honest and sincere recommendation possible. Authenticity is really important, and that's why we can't fake this. We don't need them to say exactly what you say. That's right. Many people say, well, Thomas, they've got to read my essays before they recommend me. Well, actually, they don't. If they read your essays, and they're going to say, oh, well, I'll just write about that. And they're going to repeat the same stuff that's in your essays. They might even use the same language. That is not a very good approach to getting a recommendation. You could talk to them about what things that you will be talking about in your essay. That could work. Or you could ask them to recommend you on the basis of certain events that have taken place in your career that you think are important. That's right. Or you can leave it up to them so they could write on their own what they think is very important for you. So you're saying, my recommender can't recommend me, she doesn't speak English. Guess what, guys? There's no requirement that your recommender speak English. They can write in the language they use to communicate at work. Just say, have the people who write your recommendations say, this has been translated. That's all. Not a big deal. The 4 points. 4 aspects of your recommendation that are pretty critical to delivering a good recommendation, and you're going to want to talk to your recommenders about these things. It doesn't mean that you're telling them what to say, it's just telling them what you need in a recommendation. And these 4 points can be organized in any way the recommender wants. A recommender has to say how he or she knows you. That's right. Did your recommender hire you? Or is your recommender your direct boss? Or is your recommender one of 3 bosses that you have? Is your recommender someone who has authority over 10 people? Are you one of 10 people that report to him? Are you one of 20 managers? So when your recommender talks about you in the context of your performance, he can authoritatively say, and it makes sense when he or she says, he is the most productive or she is the most productive person in my team, and we know that there's 10 people in the team because the recommender has explained he's one of 10. How long has the recommender known you? Has it known you for 3 years? Why? Because she put the date in the recommendation. So I've known so-and-so since 2015. That makes a sense, right? Right. So, number 1, how do you know? The recommender has to say, how do you know the candidate? There's often a very specific spot in the recommendation form for this to happen. Makes it really easy. A recommender has to, of course, deliver USP, unique selling point. These are the things that you're known for. These are your character points, your performance points, the things that make your profile unique to you, right? Especially in terms of your performance at work. And so your recommender is going to talk about these things. These are the very simple things. He's hardworking. She's excellent at math. She's a very persuasive speaker. She's incredibly organized. He has incredible initiative. He does stuff that makes everybody happy, whatever. Clients love him or her because of X. These are USP. These are the basic stuff that almost every recommender gets. They know to deliver this stuff. So it's really important that they include this stuff and that they include examples of how this looks in context. Many recommenders, they're pressed for time and they just say, oh, she's really analytical. Well, of course she's analytical. She works in a bank. So that's not a very good recommendation. Imagine that you have let's say, a photographic memory. If you have a photographic memory, how does this make your analytical skills look then? You remember every conversation you ever had. You remember every number you ever had. So you have phenomenal analytical skills, phenomenal computational skills. You can do it all in your head. That's going to make an impression on people. You don't have a photographic memory? Well, what qualities do you have that accent your ability at work? Maybe you're a good communicator, a good presenter. Maybe you're super organized. Maybe you're a super happy guy that everybody likes. These are all good qualities that can make a person stand out at their work. And they're things that a recommender can notice and talk about. The development arc. What's the development arc? A portrait of you over time. So I give the shoe metaphor. Have you heard it? Of course not. I'm going to tell it to you right now. The shoe metaphor. The shoe metaphor goes like this. When I first met the candidate, she couldn't tie her shoe. Of course, our company doesn't have a shoe tying course, and we need this skill, and we don't know what to do. So she went out on her own initiative with her own money, and she went to the International Shoe Tying School, and she learned how to tie her shoe. Not only did she learn how to tie her shoe in the Chinese way, the Russian way, the American way, and the French way, she learned how to do it in record time. And she came back to her company and she taught everybody in her department how to tie their shoes. So imagine this as a skill that you bring into your team and that you teach to other people. Over time, this changes the shape of the team. This changes the capacity of your team to deliver whatever it is that they do. Are you responsible for this? Are you a key person in this? This is a development arc. And this can happen in many ways. For example, you might have a talent that is simply not mentioned in the recommendation up to this point that becomes revealed. For example, you're a photographer, and over time, you start taking pictures at work. So you're taking pictures at work, and all of a sudden, this turns into some kind of responsibility for team and team leadership, and people start coming to you because you can give them advice about their careers because you know everybody in the whole company because you've taken their picture. Hey, it could come out any way possible. It can come out any number of ways. fourth point that your recommender is going to want to attend to is your leadership potential. Most recommenders are just going to say, he or she is great, take him at your school, she will be a great leader. They have to do more than this. You have to persuade them to talk about what you got to do to become a leader, because you're going to go to a business school, right? And you don't go to a business school because you're already a champion. You go to a business school because you are a champion in the making. If you know everything already, if you're already perfect, schools are not that interested in you. They're interested in delivering their knowledge. They're interested in delivering the skills that they have to offer. And so there's no crime if you don't know something. For example, maybe you're really good in finance, but you know nothing about organizational behavior or managing people. Hey, no crime. That's what the MBA is for, right? That's why you're going, to get this kind of education. So your recommender might mention that. Hey, such and such a candidate is doing pretty well at work. She does great financial modeling, and she's well liked, and she delivers to the clients. However, her team building skills, not very good, because she hasn't had the opportunity, because she is not in a position where she has to lead her teammates, for example. Or some other thing, for example, he needs to learn how to do better financial modeling, or he needs to learn how to do strategy better, or he needs to do this or that. He needs more leadership skills such as A, B, or C. These are the things that are a way for a recommender to show that they like you, they see potential in you, and there's only a few things you need to get in order to advance to the next level, to become a leader. And that's why you're going to a business school. You're not going to a business school to get the next job. You're going to a business school to get educated about who you are as a professional, what you can deliver, and how you can deliver better as a leader. Because people don't go to business school just to get new skills and go to the next thing. They go to business school to become leaders. It's for winners. Hey guys, it's me, Thomas. Subscribe to Fless.